Alrighty, so weekly recap of EU and GU. We're gonna start by doing EU first. So in EU, the daily is bearish, internal is bearish as well. That's our last internal high. Let me just put that there. So we're basically phase A2 now. We started to pull back a bit, right? We didn't get a CHoCH yet, so we're still expecting that CHoCH to occur, and then price potentially going higher and mitigating deeper supply or higher supply in premium. I wasn't expecting this supply to hold, so even though we had an inside bar here and it could potentially push price lower, right? But after we had that CHoCH and then that liquidation, I just knew that price will potentially continue bullish and go up and mitigate potentially some premium supplies. So I was bullish in the daily, right? H4. Wait, I didn't put my swing, but H4 is bearish as well. So H4 swing is technically still this one, even though it's a big range, because, well, that was our last boss, right? And then would I count that as just normal H4 structure? No, that's internal to me. So that was our boss. And then, yeah, everything inside is internal. So yeah, so that's our H4 swing high. All right. What happened is that price kept on creating these internal structures, yeah, and yeah, just pushed lower and lower and lower. Now price basically just gave us a CHoCH, all right, just right there, and started the pullback, right? So our internal high is still here. That's still my internal high. H4 internal high, right? And yeah, internal low just created. But because we kept on creating structure after the CHoCH and we had that boss, so because the internal structure is far away, so I just called this my internal structure, and I'm focusing on recent price action rather than price action from far away, right? So yeah, price just pushed higher. We have that that demand, so I was expecting to potentially play a continuation to the upside, or just see what we can do and play that bullish internal structure, right? So M15 is bullish. That was our last boss right there. All right, that's my internal low, and that's our internal high. I mean, swing high, sorry, M15 swing high, and M15 swing low right there. M15 swing low right there. All right. Now, do we have any sort of demands that we can potentially buy from, right? We have that, of course, unmitigated extreme. I mean, extreme flip, which is that one, right? And to me, I can take the whole range because, well, one candle just mitigated every range in here, so I'm okay with taking the whole range, right? Do we have an extreme? Is it mitigated? Yes, it is mitigated. Right there, right? Although it's not 100% mitigated, we could still see a bullish reaction from there, but let's just keep it like that for now. We have this unmitigated demand here, right? Has inducement as well, so this is very good. High probability as well. All of these are mitigated. Yeah, and then we mitigated the whole range, I think. Or no, not yet. So let's just keep it there. Yeah, that's all I can see for now. Let's see what price will do our market open. So let's go to next London session. That's, yeah, so we're Monday, next London session. Let's see what price is doing. So we're sort of creating these internal structures, right? Right there, right there, because the internal structure is far away. So these can't, you can shift structure and count these as internal, right? So But then we had that shift there, all right? After we shifted the bullish there. Or you can call it fractal structure as well. I mean, that doesn't change much, to be fair. There's that there too, and then that, yeah, and then that was the last one. So let's just see what price is doing. This is not high probability trading. I'm not seeing any setups from here. We had a bullish CHoCH. But again, I'm not seeing anything from here. All right. All right, we just mitigated that demand. Will we see any sort of bullish reaction potentially? Or price continuing bearish? Let's see. We set those lows. We just pushed higher. All right, we had technically the i-bos 5 p.m. Let's just skip to the next day. So we didn't have much during the whole day, right? It's just price going down, choppy in a way, consolidating here and just broke to the upside, right? Let's go to the next London session and see what happened. Alrighty, so so now we mitigated that range, right? Could we see a potentially bullish bullish continuation from here? I'm not sure. This is not clear structure to me. This is fractal structure, very messy. We created a lot of low resistance liquidity here, right here. At any moment, we can see price push to the upside or to the downside. This is not high probability trading to me. I'm not seeing anything from here, so I'm just gonna skip price until I find something that makes sense, right? Got that CHoCH, we'll respect that demand. No, we swept it, and then we pushed higher, and then we mitigated that demand. Let's see. All right, let's just follow the fractal structure and see where this will lead us. All right, so shift in structure there, okay. And then we had the shift in structure, a bear shift in structure there, right? Because this low just broke these highs right there, so that's a fractal one. And then we had that shift in structure there, right? And that was sweep of liquidity. After we we shifted bullish, that was our next fractal structure, and then that was our demand that swept liquidity. Did it give us any LC1? Yeah, but I'm not taking that trade. I mean, this is not clear structure to me, so price could still continue bullish, right? But yeah, as you can see, this is not the ideal. Yep, and you'll get stopped out because, yeah, as I said, this is just not clear structure to me. Yeah, we're bullish. H4 is bullish, right? Internal is bullish. We're looking for buys, but the problem is our market structure is not clear. Look here. I mean, this doesn't make any sense. We're bullish, right? Swing high, swing low, press. I'm not even sure where internal structure is because this is too choppy. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get and break that low, right? And we go deeper into some discount area, form some clean internal, and then break it. Because for now, that's my internal high, internal low, and now we're potentially creating another internal leg, a bearish internal leg to potentially break that previous internal low. So let's just see what price will do. It's 5 p.m. Skip to the next day. All right, so we push lower. Let's just see that. So that's our whole big range, internal range. I will assume. All right, that too. And these are just fractal structures. Now we mitigated that deeper fractal or deeper flip. There you go, that deeper flip. So fractal shifted bullish. Will we still remain bullish? That's a question. This is not high probability trading to me, so I'm not even looking to take any trade here. Yeah, and then we just broke to the downside. Yeah, we'll respect that. Let's see. Let me see. So that's I'm drawing the fractal structure now, right? So we mitigated the extreme demand, or we swept those highs, right? After we shifted bullish here in fractal structure, shifted bullish there as well, fractal structure there as well, okay, and then we had that fractal structure shift to downside. So it was bearish. At any moment, you can see this demand still reacting potentially. Oh yeah, let's see what price is doing. All right, so this is not bad. So let me just reevaluate what's happening now. So we're bearish, potentially coming to this demand area, looking for longs, but we need more clear i-bos potentially. That's what we're looking for. So what happened now is just we broke that level, right? It's not valid anymore. We created a new internal range, which is that one. So that's our new internal high, I would say, M15, right? And this is fractal structure. So price just came into one of our supplies, all right, and then give us that CHoCH. All right, leaving an unmitigated supply right there where potentially price could continue bullish from. But again, this is not high probability trading to me at all. I'm not looking to, yeah, of course it would get broken down, of course, or broke. Would we continue bearish from here potentially? We'll see. I mean, there's an LC1, but again, is this level, does this trade make sense? I'm not sure. Yeah, just continue bearish from here. Yeah, you get your entry just around there, I would say, and then your stops above the level, and your target 1, 2, 3, and yeah, that would be your trade. Although I'm not sure why you'll take a phase C. You know what I mean? This is a pullback, a phase C past EQ. Not quite sure. Yeah, this is not a clear structure to me, so I'm not happy with this structure. I'm just waiting for any sort of internal shift in structure because this is not clear at all. We had the shift there. Yeah, so that's our internal high right there. Right. Let's see, and then we got a i-bos. All right, that's not bad then. All right, it's 6, so let's just skip to the next London session. All right, what do we have? So we set these lows, we set those lows, right? Mitigated into deeper discount. We're still bullish in M15, looking for buzz, looking to continue bullish potentially. Did we get any shift in structure in M15 in H4? Sorry. Yeah, we got that CHoCH in H4 right there. So we could see now potentially a potential move to the upside, right? We have the demand right there that can hold price. So let's just follow the M15 and see what happens. I would say that this was my shift in structure, continuation to the upside, right? So that's our internal low. All right, so that's my internal low, right? Do we have any extreme structure? Yeah, I would say this low right there. This would be my extreme, I would say. Has inducement, everything. We have a flip, clear flip right there. All right. Yeah, we had some low resistances here that we could see being swept right there. All right, and yeah, let's see what price will do. We need to wait for potentially a CHoCH right there so we can confirm that price shifted bullish. All right, so we broke that level, that's fine. Now, will we potentially get shifting structure? All right. So we spread these lows, all right? Shifted bullish. Had that shock. Came in handy as well. All right. We have our unmitigated demand right there. Let's see if price will potentially reach that demand, give us a setup. So we have an LC2A right there. And that's a clear LC2A for me. Like that. And like that. All right. Let's see if we get any entry. Yep. And that's our entry then. Stops just below the level, so I'll just keep it there. All right. And target just 123.3 as always. Right there. Let's see if price will potentially hit our target. Oh, was it the trade that I think I was in this trade and I held it overnight, I think. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure I was in this trade. I held it overnight. This was a beautiful trade. Yeah, and then it mitigated that demand there, right? Overnight, and then it went to TP. I remember that. They missed by a few pips my my entry, by the way. In my TP, and then yeah. So if you go to the next London session, there you go, just straight and broke my TP. So that's beautiful. So yeah, that's our swing high. That's my swing low. Still looking for price to potentially break that swing high, right? So that's a beautiful, very beautiful trade after we swept these lows right there. Low resistances lows, right? So that was liquidation. And yeah, so that's a very, very beautiful trade. Now we got the boss there. I mean the i-bos there as well. So that's our new internal low. Just draw it. That's our new internal low right there. Right. Now we pulled back. We have this. I would say that this is our extreme. All right. That's just a random level. Doesn't have any adjustment, so I'm not even gonna draw it there. But yeah, that's our extreme. Let's see if price potentially will give us a setup. So we're creating some structure to the downside, mitigated. Let's see if you have an LC2A. Yeah, I remember seeing that one. So we do have an LC2A right there. No, not here, but rather here. So that was our fake break. I mean, no, the CHoCH was there, right? That was our CHoCH, right? Because once we broke to the downside, it was below, so that was our fractal high, and then yeah, we just pushed straight through it, gave us a CHoCH, and then we pushed to the downside. Once we mitigated that level, the PBL is still valid. That's our PBL, right? So once we mitigated that level, I was waiting for my entry, and it got hit there. All right, stop loss just below the level, and target was 123. But that, I think my stop was like 5 pips, something like that. But I remember this trade. I mean, yeah, that's basically trade that got stopped out. Yeah, we didn't get our TP hit. It was close. It was close. I think that was some Donald Trump tweet or something like that. It's fine by me. We got stopped out, but yeah, I mean it happens. It happens. That's totally fine. Now, basically, after that level failed, right? We we got an i-bos there. Doesn't make sense really, especially as we're looking for buys. We got that i-bos. All right. So now that's our internal high. And that's our internal low. We don't have any unmitigated level. We have that extreme demand that we could still, extreme supply that we could still go through. We also have this whole range, right? And I'll show you one trade that not missed, but that I could see why you can take it, right? But that wasn't for me, to be fair. Um, so price just pulled back. Well, sorry about that. Price just pulled back. All right. And yeah, we had an LC1 there. Not only that, I think, did we have any LC2A, was it? I would say that, wait, so that's the high. All right, and then that's the inside bar. So did we break the high? Yeah. Did we break the high? Yeah. Did we break the high? No. So that's our low. Because we have a inside bar, so that was our low, but then it got broke there. So that was still an LC2A. Yeah, that was an LC2A, a valid LC2A there. But that's a fake break, right? And I would say that that's the liquidation. Entry will get tagged just right there. We'll get tagged, yeah. Stops just above the level. All right. TP 123, and yeah, price just continue to downside. But in any scenario, that's not a valid trade. That's not acceptable trade. I mean, it wouldn't make sense to me that we shifted bearish. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense to me. And then what happened after? We just, yeah, and that was also we just closed. Yeah, we just closed like that. So of course that trade is not valid to me because why would we switch bearish, right? It doesn't make sense. So yeah, that's everything that happened this week. I mean, quite choppy now. We formed a range. I mean, I could see why potentially we could get that pullback to the downside, right? Because let's say that this was our fractal structure. So that let's imagine that's our fractal structure, right? After we get that shock, price potentially could see a push to the downside to mitigate that extreme demand there. So I could see that. Although for that to be confirmed, right, we'll need a shift to the upside again, an internal shift to the upside. Yeah, or else I can just see price continuing to downside from here. How did the weekly close? All right, the weekly didn't close strong enough. Monthly just opened, so yeah. I'm not against the idea for looking for shorts, but before doing that, I need some sort of i-bos confirmation i-bos. So yeah, that's everything that was in EU. Let me just double check if uh, I took all the trades. So week started from, when did it start? Was it the 6th? Yeah, the 6th. All right. So I took 4 trades on EU. One on the 8th, which was a win. All right. One on the 2 on 9th, and one on the 10th. So 1 on 8, let me just check what trade was that. Okay, so apparently I took this counter trend. Yeah, that trade that I was showing there, I took it. I could see why, but again, that's not a high probability one. I mean, the issue in this trade is that at any moment we can just continue bullish, right? But I think I took it because we had that the H4 supply that was protecting it, let's say. Yeah, I mean, it was a win, but it wasn't a high probability one. It was phase C, but against phase C against discount. So are you trying to sell while we're still bearish? I mean, we're still bullish in swing low. That's, that's not a high probability one. So I would say that the two best possible trade that I took were these two. a 1-3 and a loss, which is totally acceptable. That's totally fine for me. I took another loss. Let me just see. So the 9th. All right. So apparently I took this one. Where is it? I took this one here. I didn't wait for a CHoCH. We had inducement. It was a flip. And I just took, was it an LC1 or LC2A from there? It was an LC1. So this is wrong. I think this is a mistake. This is very wrong because that's not supposed to be an LC1, right? An LC1 is only valid once we get that whole CHoCH or M15 CHoCH. This range is too big for me to take an LC1. So yeah, this is not valid. So this trade is not valid. I took it there. Let me just go there. Where is it? Yeah, trade was took there basically, somewhere around there. Stops was there, and I got stopped out. That's not valid at all. I wouldn't say it's valid. So yeah, for next week potentially, let's just try to not focus on LC1 unless we get the CHoCH, and let's try to just follow price action. No phase C while we already mitigated EQ, unless I'm expecting reversal. Just take high probability trades, high clear probability trades. If price action is not clear, just wait for it to be clear and wait for price action to form. And yeah, so recap of this week, I took on EU, I took 4 trades on my trading journal, 2 wins, 2 losses. But on my backtesting, on my journal, I would say that these 2 are the only high probability trades. So yeah, so yeah. Let me just double check. Okay, did we break that level though? Yeah. Even if we waited for a CHoCH on that level, right? We got that CHoCH. We had that demand, price mitigated that demand, gave us an LC1, and then the LC1 got stopped out too. So I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad taking that trade at all. Yeah, so your LC1 would be there. Price will just tag you, and then yeah. Unfortunately, price did not continue to the upside. Trump just released ceasefire about Iran or something, which yeah, which pushed price to the downside, of course. So yeah, that's all for EU. Let's go to GU now. Let's see what GU is offering us. Alrighty, so GU is bearish, swing is bearish, internal is bullish. That's still our internal low. We don't have an internal high yet, so at any moment we can just see price potentially continuing to the upside, right? I mean, at any moment we can see price continuing to downside, but for now I'm waiting for price to mitigate potentially the this H4 supply or this daily supply, and then we'll see how it goes. So M15 is bullish as well. That's our M15 swing low, very clear structure. M15 swing low. That's our M15 swing high. Swing high. All right. So we had that CHoCH. We started the pullback. So our CHoCH was there. All right. We started the pullback, creating some internal structure. We have this as our extreme demand. All right. We started creating some internal structure. So that was the low. All right. We just switched bullish there. Did we mitigate discount yet? We did mitigate discount, yeah. So you can see price continuing to the upside, but although I would prefer price to mitigate lower, so I'll just wait and see what happens. So let's go to the next London session. All right, perfect. So we're on Monday. I'm not expecting this low to hold, of course, because if you take a look at the structure, it's something like that, which I would potentially wait for. an i-bos and then continuation to the upside, if that makes sense. Or directly to take a trade from this swing low. So yeah, whenever price action is like this, right, where it's like some small ranges but then a big range, I'll just count that as fractal and potentially the whole thing as internal. So let's just wait for price to potentially come lower, give us an entry, and then continue to the upside. Yeah, so we officially got that CHoCH, I mean that break there, right? So now our structure is confirmed. All right, our structure is confirmed. That's the internal, so that's the internal high, right? And that's the internal low for now. Price mitigated that fractal high. All right, that had the inducement in front of it. Did we get any LC ones? That could be an entry right there. It could, right? But again, you're trading against the M15. You could target that low, but you're trading against M15. We have no guarantee that price will just continue to that low, so that's why I'm not taking that trade at all. I'm not even thinking of taking that trade, right? Did we get any CHoCH perhaps? No, we didn't get any CHoCH, so let's just wait for price. And yeah, we're just pushing higher and higher. Let me just see if there is anything to do here. How's H4 looking? All right, so we got a CHoCH there. I mean, i-CHoCH. Yeah, was there any trade in here? And technically our internal is still bearish, so it doesn't make sense really to look for buys. Although we had a shift in fractal structure right there. All right, we had a shift in fractal structure, and we just continued bullish. But it doesn't make sense to buy fractal structure in this scenario, right? We just respected these demands and we just pushed higher. Nothing really for me to see here. No trade for me. Yeah, no trade for me, but let's just wait for price. So it's 4. Let's just go to next London session and see what happened. All right, we just broke past through it. That's fine. Totally fine. One entry there, but it's too far away. See, that's like a big range, although it would hit TP eventually, but yeah. Yeah, it would hit TP eventually later that day. Just push to the upside. Yeah, price just mitigated demand and then continued to the upside. Didn't really give us any real entry, I would say. So yeah, these fractal structures are not valid unless price is mitigating one of the demand and then shifting bullish, or giving us a clear internal structure and shifting bullish. That's not valid for me. All right, so we have a new swing range. That's our swing low, right? So now we have a new internal range as well, right? Yeah, we have a new internal range, which is perfect. Boom, that's our internal. All right. So internal low, I mean H4 internal low. Let me just draw it again. Internal low H4. All right, we have that demand right there. You could see price potentially pushing here and then continuing bullish, or else breaking it to downside. Yeah, so we can see that at any point. So M15 is bullish. Only unmitigated demand that I can see out of right now would be that as our extreme. You have that one there. All right, so let's just wait and see what price will do. That's our internal structure. Okay. We had a clear liquidity grab there, right? And then a clear shift in structure. So that's an i-bos, right? So we had, okay, so the extreme is mitigated. We had left a clear, I mean, we have that one, we have that one too. I'll just put that one there. We have that wick too, mitigated. We have that supply. So yeah, I mean, this doesn't have inducement, that has inducement in front of it. Could see price potentially reacting from here, but we'll see, we'll see. Are we starting the pullback yet? All right, so we started the pullback. We did mitigate that range, which is fine. How's the 8-4 looking? All right, so this level is not valid for me. I'm just gonna remove it. It doesn't have any adjustment. I'll just see if price will mitigate potentially higher. I still have those equal lows, so it's not something that I will look for, right? So it was bullish. Well, we had the LC to A, and then we broke above, mitigated that level. All right. Technically, here's how I see it, right? So we're pushing bullish. All right. Did we get an LC to A before? So from the low, let's just see. That high, did it break anything? Not really, no. Didn't accomplish anything. That high didn't accomplish anything as well. We had the truck there, so that was our fake break, right? So the fake break occurred first, yeah. And then that was our high that need to get broken, so that's what happened there, right? And our entry should be around there, but of course, because we didn't mitigate that demand yet, so I was waiting, or we didn't sweep those highs yet, so I was waiting for that, which happened with that candle. So I would say that entry should be right there, but do we have, how's M15 looking? Let's see if we're gonna target potentially the EQ. What price would do then? Yeah, the wick is unmitigated. So I could still look for the sells from here, 100%. Yeah, so you should be tagged there. What if I cover the highs? How will that look? 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Yeah, I can do that. I can do that, to be fair. Let's see. I think that's a valid trade. I mean, we got our LC to A, our LC to A. I prefer price, of course, if it didn't activate LC to A before pushing higher, right? But I mean, that's life. So it even gave us a better entry right there. So that's even a better entry there. But yeah, I just see what price will do. So price continued lower. Sweat the lows. Let's see if price potentially will just continue bullish or bearish. All right. Very strong shift. I mean, very strong wick to downside. We didn't close there yet, so let's just wait and see. All right, TP. I mean, yeah, that was nice. That was nice. That was nice, to be fair. So thing is, the only level that we had that price could continue bearish from was that level. We had the inducement, we had everything there, right? Everything was perfectly aligned there. What I will say is that the LC2A was not clear or clean, but I mean it did its job, right? Does LC2A in case if you took the LC2A there, okay, 2 pip buffer. Let's just keep it 2 pip buffer for instance, just to see what press will do. So you wouldn't get stopped out at all, right? And yeah, TP would get smashed. So in any cases, it's valid. All right. I wanted to see those highs goes before, but yeah. Um, so that happened, yeah. And then yeah, then price just gave us a chalk there, pushed higher, and broke that level. So I think that trade is valid. Yeah, LC2A waited for price to potentially sweep those highs, and then yeah, took the trade, stop loss above the level, and after a few hours, price just went straight to TP, right? All right, so we have internal is bearish as well. We have that supply there. Just look at internal. So that's our internal high now. All right, that's our internal low. How's H4 looking? So we started the pullback. At any moment, we can see price coming to that level. So we're in phase C. Although we mitigated discount. Yeah, although we mitigated discount, I would say that price is most likely to just push lower from here and mitigate that demand, right? I'm not seeing any price rejection from any level. Plus, we're mitigating a higher time frame supply, so I could look for a sell from there, from that level. Let's see if price has anything to offer us, perhaps. I remember this trade. I remember I didn't take it, but yeah. So that's a fake break. Yeah, I know. It's crazy, but that's a fake break, by the way, because that one is the high is 58. That high, wow, both are 58. Never mind. Because you know what? In my trading view, that was higher. So that's 58, and that was 58. In my trading view, that was higher. So the trade would be something like that, right? And then stops above and for 1 to 3, and price just smash through it. Dun, 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 dun. And yeah, it went straight to TP the next day, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just double check. Yep, it went straight to TP. So yeah, I mean, in this case, no, it didn't give us any entry. That's fine. I was a bit sad because I didn't take that entry on live, but yeah, let's just see on the H4. Yeah, so I was still expecting price to push lower because we only have that demand really as a valid demand where price can continue bullish from, although we mitigated EQ. Hard time frame suggests that we can still continue bearish from that level. So yeah, so that was the idea, although it didn't give us a trade here, which is fine. All right, let's just go next. So let's go to next London session and see what happened. So London session. All right. No. So we formed another low. Did we get a, yeah, we got another internal high here, which is that one. There you go. Internal high. I just remember that the ideal or the overall internal structure is still bullish. So I'm still looking for buys potentially from this supply, right? I'm not looking for sells at any point. So I just put it as M15. There you go. That's basically the H4 level, right? So I'm looking for buys here if potentially we get any sort of internal shifting structure, right? Let's wait for an internal boss perhaps, and then we can, yeah. I'm not sure why it's not working. Let me just go back. It was GU. Let's see if it's working now. Oh wow, what happened? What? Did it get merged into one? Let me just wait. Let's go here. Copy everything. Paste it there. Right. I'll just remove these from here. All right. Let's continue now. So we're in H4 demand. The journal is bullish, although we're at H4 level where we can potentially think that price could push lower, but it's not 100%. So yeah. So that's internal. So that's the i-bos, M15 i-bos. We have a new M15 internal low right there. Let's wait for price to potentially mitigate one of the levels. So we had, I mean, that's our flip right there. Do we have any extreme? Our extreme, yeah, everything is mitigated here. Although we could see a potential push to the upside from this level, but I think everything is mitigated. Did we respect the flip? Yeah, we did. We break higher? No. We don't have any entry level here, any entry confirmation. Price just pushed higher, which is fine. And yeah, and then he broke. So at this moment, internal shifted bearish again. All right. So that was our i-bos again. All right, here. I would call it just a fake break. It didn't mitigate that level, it just pushed lower. And yeah, do we have any level that we should be aware of? We have that one, and we just broke the M15. That's fine. So we have a new M15 range. There you go. Let's just zoom on the M15. Now that's our new internal high. All right, internal high M15. I mean, no, sorry, swing high M15. Right, and yeah, that's our. Let me just fix it. So we mitigated the whole range, but we didn't mitigate the extreme of it. We still have that extreme unmitigated right there. That's our internal high, so we have that as our internal high. M15. Let's see what price will do. So we just pushed higher, pushed higher. All right. How's the H4 looking? Let me just take a look at the H4. I mean, not here. Here. Take a look at the H4. All right, we spread those lows. We could see potentially price pushing higher. How's the daily looking? Yeah, we could see price potentially pushing higher as long as we didn't get the i-bos. So let's see. That's still just an LQ for me. Let's see what's happening. We had the CHoCH, but of course it doesn't matter because we're still in like we didn't mitigate premium yet, so that doesn't matter really. And we just got an i-bos, a bullish i-bos. Lovely. You know what that tells me? That we're gonna continue bullish, and that potentially that's invalid, and we're just gonna continue bullish. Also, I don't like how in the M15 we just once we broke below the level, we immediately regained that level. So I'm not a fan, and that doesn't show much bearish pressure, right? So that's my unmitigated demand. I'll just take the whole range, and I'll take the extreme refined level right there. All right, we're bullish. I mean, we're bearish technically, but I'm expecting this swing high to go. Do we mitigate? Let's see. I mean, it's 5 p.m., so I'm just gonna skip to the next day. London session, next London session. Yeah, we mitigated that level and then we just flew past through it, which is fine. We got a new range now. We got an i-bos, I mean a boss, so a new range. So now that's our swing low, M15 swing low. There you go. All right, and yeah, these levels are still unmitigated, so I'm still looking for price to potentially mitigate it here if price want to continue higher. Has inducement and everything, right? Just right there. All right, let's see how the H4 is looking. So, do we break past that high? I need to wait for a close and then we'll confirm the break. But for now, we're bullish. We didn't get any sign of a CHoCH yet. All right, we're just creating some internal structure. All right. That doesn't mean anything. We need an i-bos there. If potentially price can create an i-bos, can give us an i-bos, and we have an i-bos. All right. So H4, that's our internal range. So that's our our internal demand, right? H4. That's our internal low, H4 as well. We're at supply, so at any moment we can see price potentially come in lower. We had a CHoCH, so we could see a potential push to the downside, right? But let's just wait and be careful with it because we're at high probability supply. So that's internal structure, and that's an i-bos for me. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? i-bos, i-bos, i-bos. i-bos M15. There you go. We have a flip there. It doesn't have inducement, so it's not very high probability, but yeah. And we have a supply right there. Do we have another supply potentially there? It's a bit mitigated, so I'm not gonna count that one. That one is mitigated too, so yeah. Yeah, so just quick recap, M15 is bullish, right? We're looking for potential price to continue higher. But before it continues higher, we need price to push to downside and find some deeper demand. All right, that's our swing high too. Yeah. Yeah, so we need price to find some deeper demands. I'm not sure if price will gonna go and potentially get an internal boss, but for now, that's a strong daily level. Unfortunately, it doesn't have inducement. If it had inducement, I'll be very happy to take a trade from here. But I really think that price will potentially go to that level. So doesn't have inducement. I'm not really keen into looking for sells from here and being that aggressive and looking for sells. This level is not valid. It doesn't have inducement. It didn't really accomplish much. I mean, yeah, it broke that low, but it didn't really accomplish much. That level doesn't have inducement as well. I mean, inducement is far away. I know it kind of gave us an entry, but I'm not a fan. Yeah, it gave us that entry there, right? Let me see. So that's a fake break, right? There, right? Will I count that as? And to be fair, that's the only unmitigated demand. I mean supply. So it's kind of high probability for me to look for price to potentially continue bullish from there, right? Would I count that as the inducement for that level? Totally mitigated the whole range as in H4 range. Let me just copy that one. So we had a small CHoCH there. All right, that was our H4. Copy, paste here. That was our H4 as well. Internal is bearish now, so that's our internal high. That's our internal low. I mean, although it doesn't look clean, right? But it does have some inducement, a bit far away, right? But it's still inducement for that level, I would say. Better than that one, right? It's in EQ. I mean, it's past EQ. It's in the H4 range. We had a CHoCH, H4 CHoCH. We still didn't mitigate discount. Let me just put my Fibonacci and see. Did we mitigate discount yet? No, not yet. So we're not reacting from any level. So I'm still looking for, yeah, potential continuation from here to downside, right? So once we got that one, I'll take that gladly, I would say. I'll take it gladly. Let me just put some 2 pip stop loss perhaps. How does it look? If I want to target 1 to 3, where should I target? But if I cover the highs, where should I target then? The level. All right, I'm happy with taking that trade then. I'm happy with taking that. Let's see. Let's see what price will do. Will we get any CHoCH? No, not for now. All right, and price will hit our stop loss. That's totally fine. I mean, yeah, I think for me it was valid. I mean, I think for me it was completely valid to take the trade. We had that CHoCH from that supply. So CHoCH signified that internal structure is gonna start the pullback, right? So we only have one extreme demand right there that we can see price reacting from, right? Or pushing through, pushing to. So I was happy to take an FAC here. We only had that supply which was unmitigated, had a bit of demand in front of it. I mean inducement in front of it. Everything in the leg is mitigated, although we have some low resistances there, right? It was past 3 p.m., which is totally fine. I don't mind. We had an unmitigated demand, enough risk reward to the low, protected the highs, LC to A. Yep, I'll take that every day, to be fair. So yeah, I'll just go to the next London session then. All right, and we broke higher. We're on Friday. Okay, so what happened there? Yeah, we just broke higher again. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. We saw that high. Would we potentially now push lower? We could, as we didn't have any what do you call that? Any unmitigated level, right? So, I mean, oh my days, I'm losing my words because we didn't have any inducement. There you go. Because we didn't have any inducement, so at any moment we could see that level just being swept and price continuing to the downside, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if we just sweep that level and then push lower, right? Yeah, let's just follow the M15 and see what we will get. So what I count that as what do you call it? As a swing structure. Yeah, I think I would 100%. I mean, it's deep, mitigated more of that, you know, give us an i-bos and then push to the upside. So I would count that as swing structure. So we still have those levels are unmitigated. That's our swing low. Right. We had the CHoCH there. All right. We have no real internal unless potentially there, right? That's our, I just call that as our demand, M15 demand. I'm sure it wouldn't hold, but yeah. That too, as our M15 extreme demand. That's our extreme, by the way, so yeah. Just put it that way. Has inducement in front of it too. Yeah, let's just wait for price and see what it gives us. So we got that CHoCH there. All right, that potentially signify that potentially price is just gonna give us our internal structure, which it did. So we have internal structure right there. All right, let's see if price will continue to downside. All right, so we had that. Yeah, I think it doesn't make sense to look for sells from this level. Let me just put that as our swing high. Price gonna continue bearish. We didn't have any CHoCH, and then yeah, so we have a new internal range. All right, that's our new internal high. All right, left has a flip there. Yes, doesn't have inducement. That's totally fine. We do have an unmitigated demand right there. I mean supply right there, which we can see price continuing bearish from. Do you get any? Yeah, so that was used as inducement. Third level above. Do you have any entry? You do have an LC to A right there. So that was a fake break. Had fake break there. Our entry should have been around levels of, where did we break the low? Right there, I would say. 2 pip buffer, because this level is big. And the 1 2 3. But again, this trade doesn't kind of make sense, because yes, we're kind of hoping that price will just break, I mean, respect the internal structure and break to the downside. Plus, it's 5 p.m., right? So it doesn't make sense. 5 p.m. on Friday. But if price is gonna continue to downside, the only way that I would see it continuing to downside from is that level, because, well, it's an H4, and if we want to respect that H4, we need to respect that level, that supply, but it doesn't have any adjustment, so we swept that high, right? So now we need to push potentially bearish and shift bearish. But yeah, did we just push to the downside? Yes, we did. And yeah, and then Friday just ended. This is not a valid trade, by the way. Why? Well, you can take just the inside bar, has inducement in front of it, sure. LC to A, sure. When you'll get tagged, if you cover the high, can you get the 1 to 3? No, not really. But yeah, we mitigated that demand, right? So yeah, that's the thing. So GU technically, throughout the whole week, 1 win, 1 loss. That's the only 2 trades that I would see myself taking. Now let's see if I took those trades. So from the 6th, which is Monday, I took 2 trades on the 8th, 2 losses. On London and New York, LC1. Let me just see what trades were. Right, I took some trades. I took a trade here. Doesn't really make sense. Yeah, these trades doesn't make sense. I took a trade from like this demand, which is not even valid. Doesn't even make sense, right? I was expecting price to potentially push lower, but I'm just hoping at that point, right? Because we were bullish, sorry. So I can't look for sales unless we get a boss. And then after we got that boss, I took a trade after we got that CHoCH, which doesn't even make sense as well, because we didn't mitigate premium. And yeah, that was the flip up. We didn't even mitigate the extreme of the flip, right? We just went to a random premium level in discount, although we wanted to sell, so we wanted to sell, so that doesn't make sense. The only trade that would make sense is this one. That would maybe make sense if you go from logic that, yeah, we swept the highs, right? But it was 5 p.m, so it's not even a question. And yeah, now we created a new range, which is that one. That's the new internal range. So that's our internal high now. All right, and that's our internal low. Let's wait for price to potentially break it for next week. See if we're gonna break that swing low, which I think we will. Do we have any unmitigated level? We have that supply there. All right. Yeah, so let's just see what price will do next week. I'm still potentially looking to sell. Still happy to look for sells. Let's just see how the H4 formed. Yeah, I would be intrigued if price potentially give us that CHoCH there. That would mean that price is starting the pullback. All right, and then I'll be happy to look for trades to just take trades till there, or take like sells until that level, and then we'll see if that would get respected or not. The daily just swept those highs, sorry, respected that level, so just swept those highs. So I'm still looking for price to potentially push lower. Yeah, so that's basically everything from weekly analysis of what happened this week. So results of, let's say, weekly overview, right? 2 EU trades and 2 GU, right? So that was 1 win, 1 loss, and same thing for GU2, right? 1 win, 1 loss, which would equal to 2% here, another 2% here. Now, my results are different. So live, what happened live is, how many trades did I take? Let me just see. So 2 GU, 2 GU, all right, 2 losses, and 4 EU, 2 wins, and 2 losses. So these would be 4%, and these would be -2. So yeah, instead of making 4%, I only made 2% this week. Yeah, we're learning. So I made, I would say, 4 mistakes this week. 4 mistakes. Taking, let's start by the first one, which is M15. Wait, when M15 is bullish, never sell against that. All right, never sell against that until we get never sell against that, especially once we reached the extreme demand. All right, and once we get a boss, wait for premium / discount mitigation. If we have flip, wait for the flip extreme to get mitigated. All right, so those 2 are for GU, I would say. Mistakes that I made on GU. What about EU? Let's see. Yeah, so EU, same thing as well. Never take an LC1 from a big and mitigated, from a big range. Always wait for an M15 CHoCH. All right, and so that was the first mistake in EU. The second mistake would be let me see. That trade does valid. That trade was invalid. Although I did get win on that trade, but yeah, I got win here, but it's not valid. That trade is not valid too. So I would say, let me see the higher time frame, how it's looking like. Yeah, always follow or never predict a boss or i-bos. Always react. Because I was predicting an i-bos, which it didn't happen, and it touched my TP, sure, but after that we just got a price pushed to the upside, so yeah. And the final one, be patient. Be patient. No need to force setups, right? All right, so that's all for today's weekly analysis. Made a bit of mistakes. Could have ended the week better, I would say. But it's fine. I'm gonna learn and apply that for next week. And yeah, so that's everything. See you guys in next analysis.